Hey you guys, this is Josh with Homesteading Family, and today I'm coming to you from the main crop garden with some tips from the garden. And this series I'm just going to start taking a few minutes on a regular basis and just sharing a few tips, a few things that I do regularly that really help things go well for us out in the garden and help us create and maintain a great garden for all of our production needs for our family. And today I wanted to start that with just a very basic principle, and that is whether you are thinking about your soil, whether you're thinking about weeding strategies, dealing with pests, or any kind of issue in the garden, the most important thing is to get out in the garden regularly, a few minutes every day, even twice a day if you can, and go through your garden. Your feet and your hands and your eyes are the most important strategy that you have to grow a successful garden. And we just want to come out every day and walk around and inspect, and do a little bit of work, enjoy yourself, see what's going on. And so I'm out here today and we've got a pretty large garden. It is overall the space is about 100 by 100 with 65-foot rows for our main crop. So it is a lot to take care of. And I'll come out for 15 minutes every day in the morning and just walk the rows to see what needs to be seen. And this is one of the ways that I keep up with the weeds. Inspect things. This is a row of garlic right here, and we are trialing different garlic. So I'm watching this regularly to see what's doing well. You can see right here that we have a row where the garlic didn't come up. The row on the other side came up very well. That's probably a different variety. So I'm making mental notes as I'm coming through, wondering what variety this is. And I can't keep up with it all, so thankfully I've got some planter notes here, and this is a sweet pea garlic, and I know that I'm not going to want to plant this one next year as we're developing and thinking about what kinds of garlic crops we want. Now on the other side, this other row down here has filled in very, very nicely. It's done very well, and it's a Persian star. So I know that's probably a keeper for us out here in the garden. Here's another thing in this bed I'm looking for. We recently planted some chard down the middle of this row because this garlic's going to come out in July probably, and we always try to companion plant and make good use of things. And I'm seeing that the chard did not come up, or it's not coming up well. Here's a few little, I just saw some, and yeah, there's a little one. It's not coming up real great, and probably that's because the mulch is so heavy on here. And so that's a note. Whoever planted that wasn't me this time, didn't pull the mulch back enough. We'll give it another few days, but if we don't see more coming up real quick, we're gonna have to come in, pull this back, and reseed. Here's another garlic that's doing really, really well. And I believe this is called a porcelain. And you know, people ask us all the time what varieties to grow, and this is a perfect example in the garlic bed here of you have to decide for yourself what's best for your area. So we've got about 8 different types of garlic this year that we're picking out. It's our first year growing garlic in this garden, and so we're trialing them to see what works for us, and we'll make some decisions based on how things go. As I'm going through the garden, I'm just generally looking for the health of everything. These little onions, this is another one we're trying different varieties on. And some of these onions, as you look down the row, are doing really great. They're still very young. Some of them are not doing so great. And I'm noticing areas in the garden that may have soil issues. And this is just our second year in this garden. And it was in pretty rough shape when we got it. And we're finding there are pockets of nutritional issues. If you look down in here, some of these garlics didn't make it. they're just not real happy until you get down to the other end. So we may want to do some soil testing down here to see what's going on. We've also got carrots in here. These are our early season carrots. They're very tiny, but they need to be thinned just a little. And so this is another thing you can do. You just walking through, looking at everything. It's good even to dig around a little bit here and there and see if moisture's getting all the way through. We've got our mulch. Test that soil. The soil's looking good. It's nice and moist down there. Sometimes you may have gotten a rain and you think things got watered very well and maybe you don't need to water this week, but then you just poke through a little bit and you realize, oh, that didn't soak in and I do need to water a little bit more. This is a super relaxing, nice time for me every day to just come and get out here. Now the mushrooms don't bother me at all. They're great. I just don't want them in the middle of my carrots too much. Now here's a problem I'm seeing, and we've seen this in this garden right here. You see this garlic? Look at this guy. For some reason, he's having a problem. Everybody around him's doing just fine. And this is another issue that we're having in this particular garden at times. Here and there, something just doesn't do well. We think maybe there were some things spilled or something happened. And right now, we're just mostly observing. The plants will tell us what's going on. And I'll leave this guy. He may recover, he may not. But it's just something I want to know. Those are the kinds of things I'm thinking about when we're out here. You know, I just stopped and noticed this little spider right here. And, you know, sometimes bugs freak people out, but any sign of life in the garden we love. I'm seeing ants in here. I'm seeing this little spider who's running away from the camera. And, you know, these guys are going to help protect you from some of your non-beneficials. So I love seeing spiders in the garden. I love seeing life. I love taking the time sometimes just to observe and see what these guys are doing. Playing with them a little bit. He's a hopper. So take time to enjoy your garden, and in that enjoyment and in spending that time out here, the work just gets done. The things that you need to do just happen. And you get your weeding done. You notice little things that you may address. Maybe there's areas that need fertilizer. Maybe there's areas that need greater soil amendment. Whatever it is, just by taking those few minutes every day and getting out into your garden, that right there will solve probably 80% of the various challenges that you have in your garden. So that's it for today, you guys. Have a great week. Spend some time in your garden, and I will see you soon.